They have been eerily putting this in front of our face the entire time. Follow me.
And what do we have here? A motherfucking dragon, as we are in the year of the dragons, and we are in the return of the dragons, and we also have a volcano eruption as the ring of fire is popping off. Okay, once again, there's no such thing as coincidence, and they're putting this shit right in front of our face, eerily spitting in our face. Okay, and then if you know, you know, Transformers movie was based off of a real life event. Also, the Men in Black movie was too. If you know, you know. Look up the Broken God religion based off of Mexico and the last dosage of Mysteria that they had to give out to the public so that they can forget of everything that happened. Okay, and then moving on right here, you have the Leviathan, as we have that landmass that we can't forget that has been moving out of the Arctic Sea, and it's right in front of our face right here. And we cannot forget about King Kong for a little spazzle dazzle, as we know this is a real life entity that is locked up in a hidden landmass beyond the ice wall that they don't want you to see, and they don't want you to know, because their time is up, and that's what they're afraid of. And then we cannot forget the reason why everybody has been running around sounding and looking like Chicken Little, talking about the sky is falling, as we are coming to the second coming of Christ, allegedly. Yes, Three-Eye Atlas, we cannot forget, it's supposed to be on the way, and everything that's supposed to be happening with the aurora borealis that we have in the background. That is very telling as to why we've been having all of these solar flares here lately, right? Follow me. And once again, everything is put in front of your face. Nothing is coincidental. You cannot forget here, what do we have? Oh, a sneaky little reptilian here hiding in the background. We have another one there. What? Hiding in the background, watching everything we do. And then we have the powers that be that are in the shadows, okay, playing puppet master. Let's not forget that their time is up. Okay, the reason why the wicked witch is no longer here and is dead is because the witchcraft that they've been using to manipulate our energy, it no longer is working, and their time is up. Okay, laugh now, cry later. Okay, there's nothing that is coincidental, and they've been putting this in front of our face since 2018, 2019. This is literally a stage, and we're watching the motherfucking show.
And if you're still distracted by sports, politics, or any other bullshit, then get the fuck up out of here. Please keep scrolling. This is not for you.
I'm starting to believe that you guys really want to have nightmares. Like, you are seeking it out at this point. If you guys are still watching after we've been talking about the scary things in the book of Enoch and the ocean, I found my people. Without further ado, let's get into it. The Leviathan. This is a terrifying sea creature mentioned in the Bible multiple times, and the description God gives is that it is untamable, frightening to look at, and unbeatable by any weapon on earth. According to theologists, the Leviathan was created on the 5th day and was so powerful that God had to subdue it with the archangel Gabriel. Here are some details about this terrifying sea creature from Job 41. It is a creature too large for traders to sell, strikes fear in the heart of man, is king over all the proud. I can definitely make another video about the Leviathan spirit that can often inhabit people that have very prideful tendencies. The Leviathan's eyes are like rays of dawn, as you can see above. Its breath sets coals ablaze and has a hard underbelly, as well as a chest that feels like rock. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that kind of sounds like a dragon to me. I'm also going to make another video about the fact that we might have been lied to. I say might because if I don't, TikTok's going to take my video down, but y'all know what I really mean. We might have been misled this whole time, and dinosaurs were never really here, and they were just dragons. Anyway, moving on. In the Bible, specifically Psalms 74:14, I believe, it says that God annihilated the Leviathan. However, a lot of people are starting to believe that it's still out there somehow. Let's talk about why. Did you guys see this on Google Earth? Tell me I'm not the only one. This is what looks like to be a giant sea creature's head that is literally moving across the globe on Google Maps. Like, what? Shortly after finding this, scientists noticed an anomaly bigger than ever recorded before, and it was sending off mass alerts. People have also been noticing that the sea life is becoming more and more aggressive and picking up strange tendencies like packs of whales just beaching themselves for no reason. I honestly don't want to think about the Leviathan still being out there, because at this point y'all want to give me heart palpitations. Like, why are you doing this to me? Like I said before, we see in the Bible that God annihilated this creature. However, a lot of people think that there were two of them, because throughout history the Leviathan has been described as being two-headed. Some people are starting to believe that it wasn't two-headed, it was actually two Leviathans. However, God annihilated the female one so that they couldn't mate, because God knew that if there were a bunch of little crazy sea creatures going around the world, we would be cooked. That begs the question, okay, well, if the creature was so evil, why did God God created. If this theory were to be true, and there is one still out loose somewhere, hopefully not, y'all have to understand that we were meant to live side by side in peace with these animals like in the Garden of Eden. But once the fall happened and sin entered the world, boom, everything's evil. And y'all know that the enemy likes to pervert anything that God means for good. So therefore, it turned into an evil sea creature. Obviously, we know that there's no power on earth or down below that's more than the power of the Lord. Amen? And one more thing before I go, guys, because you know I always have to make room for a part 2. What if Godzilla and King Kong are actually real and they're biblical? Kind of sounds like the behemoth, which is a great land creature, aka King Kong, and Godzilla, which is a great sea creature, aka the Leviathan. Just hear me out. Y'all know that I have to test the boundaries somehow. It would make sense that the media is trying to copy off the Bible and claim it as their own, would it not? Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below if you want a part 2, even though I know y'all do.
Y'all, I literally just watched a video where this young lady was saying that she feels like we're living in a simulation. And I don't know if y'all can remember, but about a week ago, I released a video where I was reading Genesis, where there were 2 worlds that were created. And I literally said, we're living in 2 different realities. Their heaven is our hell. I'm going to play something else for you. I'm going to play her video first, and then I'm going to play a video that I released about 2-3 years ago.
I don't even know. The contract exists. I'm almost 100% sure about it. Because this isn't real. This isn't real.
And her handle is Black Girl 2. I could not do it the video. Every time I tried to do it the video, it wouldn't put no sound to the green screen video. So I just did it this way. Genesis chapter 17, verse 7. I will maintain my covenant between me and you and your offspring to come as an everlasting covenant through the ages, to be God to you and to your offspring to come. I assign the land you sojourn in to you and your offspring to come, all the land of Canaan. And as an everlasting holding, I will be their God. The covenant. This is a pact. This is a pact with an entity that says, as long as I am your God and you believe in me and your children to come believe in me, then I will make you fruitful and I will give you all of the joys and all of the legacy and wealth that you desire. We are literally living in a reality that they created, and they are our exact opposites. Yin and yang, black and white. It's literally been in our face the whole time. They told us it meant one thing, but it's literal black and white. And that's just really an after effect of what's really going on a spiritual level. Law of polarity is a real thing, and it manifests in real ways. The law of polarity is the principle that everything has an opposite or 2 poles, and these opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees. We are identical in nature, but we are vastly different in degrees. This is their reality. Their heaven is our literal hell.
This shit is not ice cream. This is some Play-Doh bullshit.
Absolutely no reason for me to do this. This is not ice cream. This is Play-Doh. Literally, no. Right? Oh, I'm tripping. Like when you know how you start it.
What are they putting in that shit? Then you know, like, I be thinking about this shit. That stuff in the grocery store probably be sitting there for years. You know what made me think about this? Because when I was doing Instacart 5 years ago, when the pandemic happened, and I seen everything in the store was the same. Every day I walked in, it's like, when are they replacing this? You know, they just knock it to the back. I mean, they knock all the old stuff to the front and then knock the new shit to the back. But it's like, yeah, how do you know they really keeping up with that shit, though? They could be telling you anything. Repackaging, remarking shit up.
Listen, I might get banned for this. I might get shadow banned for this. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. But listen, Cash Patel is the reason that when you're on your phone after doing, some gardening, he has specific agents watching you through your lens, building algorithms for you to be stuck in a psychosis because you're constantly seeing the same thing and living through the same thing. This is not anything new. If y'all are gonna start...
Don't have thalassophobia, I'm gonna give it to you right now. Part infinity of why the ocean is terrifying. We're not even gonna talk about the spiritual part anymore. We're just gonna talk about the facts. These scientific facts, since y'all love science so much. Before we get into the tea, make sure that you guys follow my back at TikTok and my YouTube, just in case this one gets banned. Y'all know that there are black holes in the ocean called eddies that can last for months and even years. I gotta bring out the Chuck Bass eyes for y'all to understand. Years. Do y'all, like, black holes? Where does it lead? What's in there? Why does it last for years? And it can be up to 150 kilometers. Look up how big that is. Please look up how big that is. The fact that there is so much going on in the ocean that we don't know about, that we are purposely being kept in the dark about. Let's talk about the 1970s. In the 1970s, the Navy put sensors on the ocean floor to try to be able to detect things like submarines and other equipment. They found that there are not only structures in the ocean, but things resembling UFOs that travel at lightning speed on the ocean floor. This was in the 1970s. And of course, y'all remember Congress just talking about there's a presence in the ocean, UAPs. This is old news, but they're trying to present it as new news. I promise you there's more than that 5% of the ocean discovered. They just have not told us about it yet. Oh yeah, TikTok this for entertainment purposes only, none of it's true. Also, just whole other topic. Did you know that if you were to fall off a cruise ship or any kind of ship in the middle of the ocean and stay in that ocean for 3 days, the salt water would start to molt your skin off your bones? Yeah. Have y'all heard of Point Nemo? The farthest you can possibly be from land. And do y'all know about the fact that NASA dumps space equipment in Point Nemo? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I truly believe that there's something else going on at Point Nemo, not just space junk dumping. Out of all the places, why would you choose there to dump space junk? Another point, can y'all actually sit down and try to think about how many corpses are just in the ocean? Like throughout history, how many people have been dumped in the ocean? Do y'all remember how the slaves chose the sea and they would jump into their death? Like, just imagine when you're at the beach. I want you to think about that. While you're at it, I want you to look up Sauce 90. And I know we're getting back to the spiritual part of it, but I want you to look up Sauce 90 and look at his siren videos. I know for a fact that this dude has come in contact with sirens, because ain't no way, like, those videos will send chills down my spine at any moment. Long story short, y'all asking me, oh, is space or the ocean more terrifying? You really have to ask that question. This is exactly why you won't find me in the ocean more than knee deep. That's maybe even ankle deep. Knee deep is on a good day. Okay? As always, y'all, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think.
Wheat and corn products, GMO, genetically modified wheat and corn products. This is what parasites feed off of: sugar and carbohydrates. And this we can go to the cereal aisle later. That's like parasite food, sir. That was pushed on us in the late 70s, early 80s to push out butter, which has tremendous healing qualities. Margarine's basically made out of seed oils, it's bad news. But anyways, all these yogurt drinks, all this stuff, they're all loaded with sugar. They're all loaded with food dyes and all this other stuff that's killing us. Why do they put that in our food, Greg? Well, it's addictive. So they want things to make things taste as good as possible. But then, so we get addicted to eating these things. But the problem is that it also feeds the parasites that are internal in your body, in your gut and stuff. So when you're feeding the parasites, the parasites dictate your food cravings. So if you have a large load of parasites in your gastrointestinal tract, you're going to have more cravings for sugars and things like that. Which cravings, to your knowledge, they don't exist? Yeah. Cravings, impulse control, things like this. These all are all due to high parasitic loads, largely, or trauma. And would you say sugar is the most prominent in that regard? Yeah. Refined sugar. Well, high fructose corn syrup is the worst of the worst, even worse than refined sugar. And that goes into serpent energy. Yeah, it goes into the serpent energy. Yeah. So the Garden of Eden, the serpent energy. Well, parasitic worms represent the serpent energy. To the gods and goddesses. Now, I know some would allege that this is potentially computer-generated imagery. This picture was floating around before artificial intelligence. For those that are unaware of who this is President Eisenhower, and he was said to have 3 alleged meetings, secret meetings, allegedly, with extraterrestrial biological entities. What you're witnessing here is tall whites, and it's been said that the tall whites actually work very closely with our government and world leaders. Some even alleged that a Venusian by the name of Valiant Val Thor also worked with our government.
This extraterrestrial meeting with President Dwight Eisenhower allegedly took place at Edwards Air Force Base in the year 1954. Now, the way the story goes, it actually indicates that these beings were referred to as Nordics. And these Nordics wanted to communicate with Eisenhower for the purpose of eradicating all nuclear weapons. And it states that they didn't even communicate verbally, that they actually spoke telepathically. And their objective was to pretty much, they told Eisenhower that if he got rid of all nuclear weapons, then what they would do is they would basically provide him supreme technology as well as with spiritual information. Now, what's sad about this whole story is Eisenhower didn't agree because he didn't want to give up the nukes. But that same exact year, he spoke with some other extraterrestrials and actually made a bargain with them. And the deal was that they could have cattle, earthling cattle, and humans to do medical experiments on for exchange for technology. We'll say allegedly for this act. If this story is true, this means that the president actually sacrificed the people of the country and the animals for the purpose of ascertaining technology. This is because most of the powers that be are associated with blue blood draconian bloodlines and Nephilim descendants that actually lack empathy. Now, there are some benevolent beings that try to infiltrate the government to actually do the right thing. There are some good ones that do try to come in, but they understand the laws of Ma'at. They understand the laws of chaos and order, and their objective is never to interfere, all right? But there are other ones that don't follow the laws of the law of one or the laws of Ma'at that actually try to interfere, and this is your patriarchal system that's currently being eradicated. Now, I made you aware that this whole planet was an extraterrestrial testing facility and a huge eugenics program. Contrary to what you've been told, most of us actually have extraterrestrial bloodlines. Most of us have extraterrestrial epigenetic storage, and this is one of the main reasons why our telomeres have been capped off, so we don't have access to that information. But as the sun starts to wake up and accumulates more ionizing particles, we're now beginning to tap into that dormant DNA. Although we all identify under the nomenclature title known as a human, we may look similar in appearance, but we're actually very different genetically. This is why there's so many different blood types on the planet. A lot of these different beings came down and made it and amalgamated and mixed genetics. This is why more than ever we need to cleanse ourselves and start tapping in. Because as the sun's activating, we're becoming something different. Listen, gods and goddesses, anytime the government or the powers that be try to keep you away from something, it's because what they're trying to keep you away from is truly powerful. And what have they been trying to keep us away from thus far? Good health, all right? There's been a lot of COVID strains popping out. There's been tons of chemtrails being sprayed. There's been lots of endocrine disruptors. There's been serratia marcescens. There's been people getting sick all over the place because they fear something going on with our DNA in the sun. All right, so this is the time more than ever to get yourself right. Cleanse yourself, detox the body, decalcify and activate the pineal gland. Utilize things like chlorophyll because our bodies are very closely synonymous to vegetation. Get to the point where you're meditating, where you're grounding, where you're fasting. Get to the point where you're refraining from processed, packaged, bioengineered food designed to override your genetic template. Right now, everything is being exposed, and this is the time where things that were hidden is now surfacing to the light. For all high-quality herbs and metaphysical products for spiritual elevation, click the link in my bio and visit Holistic Remedies, your extension to ascension.
Disney tells us that mermaids are thoughtful, beautiful creatures, but the Book of Enoch tells us a far more sinister history. On my channel, we have been diving into this alleged lost book of the Bible that was discovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but for some reason is not included in the canon Bible that we know today. Many people say it's because it has knowledge that we were never intended to know. For example, who are mermaids? Where did they come from? Are they good or are they evil? The answer, according to the Book of Enoch, because I know how y'all like to tussle. If you can see it, I have the book and I'm reading it. Sirens are actually the mothers of demons. So essentially they're real, but they're evil. Long story short, a long time ago, 200 angels rebelled against God and heaven and decided to procreate with the mortal women that were on earth. And from these mortal women came a cursed species of giants that ate up all of humans' resources on earth and then started to consume humans themselves. And when they got to be hungry enough, they even started to eat each other, becoming cannibalistic and doing vile things here on earth. These events led up to Noah's flood because God said enough is enough. Now during this flood is when Noah had built the ark and him and his family escaped, but the Nephilim were not so lucky. They drowned in the water, but it wasn't the end for them. What if I were to tell you that the demons that we know today are actually the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, aka the giants, roaming the earth seeking what souls that they can devour, and that's where the whole ghosts having unfinished business came from. Now those fallen angels that rebelled were punished by God and put in shackles. 4 of those fallen angels are actually now chained under the Euphrates River, and in Revelations, the last book of the Bible, it is said that they will be let out and they will unalive 1/3 of the population during the time of judgment. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty when it comes to the mothers of demons. You probably understand now why they are called that, but you'll ask yourself, okay, so the Nephilim got punished, the fallen angels got punished, but what about the women? The women were actually cursed to roam the sea until their final day of judgment. And this is why throughout history, we can see so many versions of sirens, because they've been around since the dawn of time. However, the media wants to desensitize us and make us think that mermaids are just wanting to be part of our world, collecting thingamabobs under the sea. That's not the case. And if you're still questioning whether or not sirens exist, just think to yourself that only 5% of the ocean is discovered. Who are we to say that we're the only ones living here? I mean, if you just look at history, mythology, you will see so many times that sirens rear their ugly head up from that water in so many different countries. You see them in Slavic folklore called the Rusalkas. You see them in African folklore called Mamiwata. You see them in Inuit folklore called the Kalupalik. They take many forms, but best believe none of those forms look like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I hope this answered your question. I can definitely do a part 2 diving deeper into what I'm reading in the Book of Enoch. I always like to cross-check it with the Bible because I do not read the Book of Enoch as scripture. I read it as history, if that makes sense. As always, make sure you guys like and follow and comment down below what you think.
Yo, you have to watch this.
The reason why they use DNA from the cells of other humans and other animals in vaccines is to trigger an autoimmune reaction. Now, I'm going to set this up for everybody.
I feel sick.
This is to make you aware. This is the autoimmune industry complex. Inject people without them asking or knowing DNA from other species and other humans into their body. You will wreck their immune system and create autoimmune diseases for life. Do you want to know how I know it?
No.
Real simply. Have you ever heard of a person getting an organ transplant?
Sure.
Yes.
Name an organ that they like to transplant.
Kidneys.
Kidneys are a good one. Yep. Kidneys, liver, hearts, right? You get all these, right? Lungs for pulmonary fibrosis. They have lots of organs they do transplants from. When a person you've ever known gets an organ transplant, that organ is coming from another human.
Yeah.
So they're finding someone who died or has sacrificed their own organ, and they're going to put that organ inside of your body. Let's give the kidney, for example. When they do that and they wake you up from the surgery, they then immediately prescribe to you 10 to 15 drugs for life that are called anti-rejection drugs.
Okay.
Your immune system's going to reject the organ and kill it. Why? Your immune system knows it ain't yours.
Foreign, yeah.
So it's going to go attack it. After it creates antibodies that totally destroy that organ, if you weren't on those drugs, that organ that you just received from somebody else has the DNA structure of kidneys. Guess what happens after it gets done attacking that kidney? It's going to be, those antibodies are floating around your body looking for what?
Kidneys.
Kidney cells, kidney tissue. They are going to then start attacking your kidneys, and you will develop autoimmunity of your kidneys, chronic kidney failure, and you will be on dialysis for life.
Jeez.
The body, we know, will reject and destroy any tissue that's foreign that isn't your DNA. This is a great design by God, by the way. Don't put other DNA in your body.
Right.
So now you put Cocker Spaniel DNA inside of a 6-month-old. You put hepatitis B inside of a 12-hour-old baby.
Yeah.
And you set them up for autoimmune diseases lifelong. This is why you get juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile diabetes,
yes.
SIDS. Why did you get all these conditions of autism? This is
so
what
many
they're
more
doing.
diseases malfunction.
Have y'all seen this yet? We must be close to something, y'all, because this guy was recording the sun with his camera and he caught the hexagon pattern like I've never seen it before, y'all. Clear as day. You can clearly see like there's this type of dome thing up there. Look at this, y'all. Check this out. It looks like a whole spider web. Y'all seen this? Look at this. You can clearly see it now.
The sky and catches this phenomenon. Look at the hexagons in the sky. Some kind of grid or screen, or what is that? What is going on?
Just like in Chicken Little, when a piece of the sky fell, y'all see that? It's a hexagon shape, and it looks like the sun in the middle of it. Look at this, y'all literally telling us. And if you've ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy, this is the same thing, the same program they're showing us. Look at these other beings coming in through portals, or these other ships coming in through portals, y'all. Look at that. This is how they were making their way into Earth. And then in the movie Kong, he throws a giant tree at the sun, and then it hits the dome. It breaks the dome, and then the hexagon patterns start breaking off. Look at that, y'all. And you can see it's a whole nother world in there. They're literally telling us, man, we're in a game. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. You ever seen the sky looking like this? Look at the layers, y'all. What is going on here? Why does it look like a painting? This is a real life picture. There's no edits or anything, y'all. Why does it look? Do you see the striations in the sky? What is going on here? Something is going on, y'all. Something is happening within our world. Something new is coming, or something it's already here. Because if our sky is looking like this, man, it's already here. There's a big shift going on. But yeah, y'all, let me know what you guys think about this video. The shift is here. Let me know down in the comments what you think this is, y'all. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Oh my days, what have we done? May the Lord have mercy on our souls. People, we have gained access to the underground city underneath Nottingham. And what we found, you are not going to believe me. Daniel in the lion's den. This is locked off from the public. Nobody knows about it. Nobody has seen it. Nobody's allowed to go there. It is me recording this video. I know somebody who knows how to get there. So what you don't understand is underneath Nottingham is a city of caves, because Nottingham is the secret capital of Babylon. When you look on the map, when it comes to Babylon, Nottingham is the center of the world. Statues and sculptures underground. And they have called it Daniel in the lion's den. So the mainstream narrative says one man named Alder Herbert built himself a house, and then he needed to gain access to the road. So he built himself a tunnel by scraping and chiseling through the rock. And with the leftover rock from the tunnels, he decided to carve himself some lions and other strange creatures. There's also a sphinx and an Egyptian temple down there. Now you gotta ask yourself, who is building temples 50 feet underground? Now listen to this. They're saying that these caves and these carvings was created by one man in the year 1909. And nobody saw these carvings for 46 years. And by the time they saw them, it was out of fashion, so there was no art display, and nobody ever saw them. These carvings are not accessible to the public. Nobody even knows they are there. We had to climb and trespass to find these. There is no way one man created these, because Nottingham is full of caves. In fact, Nottingham is the city of caves. So this cave was there long before he was. And those carvings was not carved by him. Those carvings are in honor to the Babylonian Empire. Daniel in the lion's den.
So if you want to live, you cannot eat here.
Fucking definitely can't eat there. Or this place right here. Can't eat there. Or this place right here. But here's why. Quick story. My cousins own the biggest dairy farm in the state of New Jersey. My other cousins own the biggest growing farm in the state of New Jersey. It's called Bluebick Corn. You can Google that shit. They cannot get insurance on their animals unless they use GMO feed, and their animals cannot be sold to those places I just pointed out unless they're shot full of hormones called IGF-1, insulin growth factor 1, which is why chicken breasts are this big. It's why guys are huge, walking around huge, because they're taking that shit. Without the insurance companies, okay, the animals are all sick, which means that they all have to be vaccinated. Big Pharma's number one customer is big agriculture. 85% of everything Big Pharma puts out, big agriculture puts in the animal, and you buy that shit. You can't buy anything from Walmart, anything from your local grocery store, unless it's born in your city, raised in your city, died in your city, grass-fed. Don't fucking eat it, and don't eat in those places, because if you do, you're gonna wind up getting cancer, and you're gonna wind up getting fat, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not your fault. It's illegal in France and Germany. IGF-1, Google that shit. Love you. It's the downfall of the sea.
Hey, check this video out, y'all. So they're telling us in the news, right, that California is getting ready to split in two, but they're using politics for it. Like California is getting ready to split into two states, like red and blue. But actually, if you look at the map where they're showing this, right? The map that they want to show you where the two states is splitting in two, right? Is mirroring the San Andreas fault line. Because if the state was splitting in two, why wouldn't it split down the middle? Why y'all gotta show something to the similar to the San Andreas fault line? So could this be predictive programming with them letting us know that the great split is coming? Because why wouldn't it split down the middle?
A tale of two Californias. We just got more details about the launch of a plan to split the state in two. The California Republicans are proposing it as a response to the redistricting effort that voters will decide in November. NBC Mayor's Chris Sanchez joins us now with some of the...
Most people will never be able to zoom into the sun this close because it costs about a $40,000 setup with the lenses and fancy camera. This is not AI. This is the sun. Now, some will call it solar flares. All I know is this thing looks like a freaking organism. And if they're lying about the moon landing, if they're lying about space, if they're lying about the nature of our reality, then you can also imagine we may have been lied to about the sun. This is footage of the sun with a whole bunch of basically sunglasses on the freaking lens of the camera to be able to see it in detail. A ball of gas and fire, I'm not sure. It actually looks like a molecule or some type of organism with a microscope. And I don't think that this is 93 million miles away either. That is almost 100% guaranteed a complete lie. Now, the other thing is, if the Earth has its own consciousness, some people call it Gaia or Mother Earth, it has its own consciousness, microcosm to macrocosm, then would it make sense that the sun is an inanimate object, or that it too is sentient and some form or another living? Because crystals, Nikola Tesla said, are also living. We just don't understand them. I wonder. All I know is a ball of fire, I don't know, maybe it's pure light, perhaps it's a portal. Remember, you got to unlearn all the things you think you learned. Look at this frickin' thing, man. That's the sun.
We did some testing, and so yesterday I'm seeing these chemtrails, and today I'm in my sauna sweating, and I want to tell everyone why. The first test that we did, Pastor, was we went and we sweated, and I sweated for a bunch of days, but I sweated and collected the sweat samples and then an engineer and sent them all to the lab and said, what's coming out when there's no chemtrails? We corroborated that what's coming out of us are aluminum, barium, and strontium. But this is where it gets really exciting. The aluminum is far and away the largest short-circuiting heavy metal that we are being exposed to in these chemtrails. So with no chemtrails, the amount that came out in my sweat, Pastor, was 281 nanograms per gram. Now that's more than triple any other metal coming out. So we know that where that's still coming in from every time there is a chemtrail, and maybe I didn't sweat before that, it showed up. And now check this number out. The day after a chemtrail, same experiment, just same sample size, everything. We collected the sweat again, 2,958 nanograms per gram. We went from 281 to 2,958 nanograms overnight, just with the chemtrail days. The first message we have to get out to everyone is that when you see a chemtrail, it is your duty to sweat within 24 hours to get that waste that you have just breathed in. You couldn't even see it. Get it out of your body before it can embed in your cell structure and start disrupting the electricity that God designed your body to flow on.
Que no te engañen más. Esto que ves ahí delante es Torenza. No está en el Cáucaso, sino detrás del muro de la Antártida. Exacto, así como lo oyes. Por favor, necesito que si eres de USA, escuches esto porque vas a alucinar aún más. Lo más impactante viene después. Durante décadas nos hicieron creer que el muro antártico era una simple formación natural, pero no lo es. Expertos en georradar descubrieron estructuras metálicas bajo el hielo que generan campos electromagnéticos. En Reddit y 4chan miles de usuarios aseguran que es una barrera creada para mantener a la humanidad fuera de Torenza. Un exagente retirado declaró en 2019 que los gobiernos firmaron acuerdos secretos para no sobrevolar esa zona nunca más. Las mismas coordenadas aparecen en mapas náuticos de 1800, marcadas como área restringida sin retorno. Y entre los billetes hallados en el equipaje de la mujer de Torenza se ven símbolos iguales a los usados por la NASA durante el programa Apolo. Todo conecta. Y aquí viene lo más fuerte. Tengo el video prohibido del interrogatorio con la mujer de Torenza.